All right, let's jump right in. Today we're tackling what might be the single most detailed, blow-by-blow prophecy in the entire Bible. I'm talking about Daniel chapter 11. This is incredible stuff. It's literally history written down centuries before it ever happened. And just so you know, this devotional is brought to you by the You Need Faith in Jesus team. Our whole goal here is to see how prophecy that's already come true, like perfectly fulfilled, can give us this rock-solid, unshakable faith in God's plan for what's still to come. You know, it's a question we've all asked at some point, right? Can we really know what the future holds? The world is full of guesses and predictions, but the book of Daniel, well, that offers something totally different. It gives us a direct, detailed answer straight from God himself. So, let's get into it. So, history written in advance. What's so mind-blowing about Daniel 11 is that when you read it, it feels just like a history book. I mean, it charts the rise and fall of specific kings, specific empires, with just pinpoint accuracy. The only catch, it was all written down hundreds of years before any of it actually happened. Okay, so the prophecy kicks off right in Daniel 11, verses 3 and 4. It says, "And a mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion. His kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven, and not to his posterity." Now, if you know your history, that should sound incredibly familiar. It's a perfect description of Alexander the Great. He had this massive, powerful kingdom, but then it was suddenly broken up. And get this, the text specifically says it would not go to his posterity, his own kids. And here's how it played out, just perfectly. After Alexander died unexpectedly, and he was still young, his huge empire didn't go to his son. Nope. It was fractured and eventually carved up between his four top generals, Cassander, Lysimachus, Seleucus, and Ptolemy. Literally divided toward the four winds of heaven, exactly like Daniel said it would be. Amazing. But the prophecy doesn't stop there, not even close. It then zooms in, focusing on the rivalry between two of these new kingdoms, the Ptolemies down in the south and the Seleucids up in the north. And out of all that conflict, a really sinister figure emerges, a guy who is honestly a chilling preview of a much greater evil still to come. You really have to understand this guy because he's like a blueprint for the future. His name was Antiochus IV, and he called himself Epiphanes, which means God manifest. But the Bible, well, Daniel 11:21 calls him something else, a vile person. It says he'd seize power not by right, but through cunning and deceit, by flatteries. And history absolutely backs this up. He was a cruel, treacherous ruler, and his actions were a perfect match for that prophetic description. And this is where the prophecy gets almost uncomfortably specific. In 1667 BC, Antiochus, totally enraged, storms into Jerusalem. He pollutes the holy temple itself, he stops the daily sacrifices, and then he puts up an idol to Zeus and sacrifices a pig on the holy altar. I mean, just horrific. This act became known as the abomination that maketh desolate, and it was prophesied right here in Daniel centuries before it happened. But here's the thing, Antiochus wasn't just some historical bad guy. He was a type, a shadow of someone who is still to come. And this is where the prophecy makes a huge pivot. It shifts from history that's already happened to the distant future. And it starts describing a final world ruler who will do what Antiochus did, but on a global scale. And this, of course, is the person we know as the Antichrist. Now, the real kicker here is that this isn't just someone's interpretation. This is a big deal. Jesus Christ himself, when he was talking to his disciples about the end times, directly referenced this very prophecy from Daniel. In Matthew 24, he confirmed that this abomination of desolation was going to happen again, pointing to a final, ultimate fulfillment. So Daniel lays out this chillingly clear profile of this final ruler. He's going to be a total egomaniac, doing exactly what he wants, when he wants. He'll lift himself up above every god, every authority. He'll speak unbelievable blasphemies against the God of gods. The Bible says he'll reject all other gods and instead honor a God of forces. In other words, his real God is military might, power itself. And this guy is going to achieve incredible global power. He'll even set up his palace right there in Jerusalem, between the seas and the glorious holy mountain. But, and this is the crucial part, right at the very peak of his power, at the height of his arrogance, the prophecy spells out his doom. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. It's over. His defeat is absolute, and it is divinely guaranteed. Okay, so what does all this ancient history and future prophecy mean for us? Right now, today? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The stunning, undeniable accuracy of the prophecies about the past, that gives us an unwavering confidence in God's promises for the future. Think about it. If God could nail the details about Alexander the Great and Antiochus Epiphanes centuries in advance, we can absolutely trust what he says is coming at the end. And that's really the core message here. God isn't just reacting to history as it unfolds. He's the one writing it. As Isaiah says, he declares the end from the beginning. That means no human ruler, no global crisis, no dark spiritual force can ever derail his ultimate plan. His counsel will stand. Period. Now, all this incredible knowledge, it's not supposed to make us scared. It's supposed to make us faithful. In fact, right in the middle of this prophecy about some really dark times, Daniel 11:32 gives us the key. It says, "But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits." So, what does that mean for us? How do we live this out? Well, it's pretty clear. Step 1, know your God. I mean, really know him deeply through his word. Step 2, be strong in him and do great things, do exploits. And step 3, stand firm in your faith, no matter what you see happening in the world. So that leaves us with this final thought. Knowing that God's plan is unstoppable, that his victory is absolutely certain, how does that change the way you face today? What will you do with that confidence? What fear does it just wipe away? What bold action does it inspire you to take? Because when you know how the story ends, it gives you all the confidence you need to live faithfully in the chapter you're in right now.